UTC time zone -4, Toronto, Atlanta, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and on the East Coast are in the middle of their events. And we have a new time zone that's going to be opening up, which is UTC -5. Let me go on the list and tell you what areas of the globe are concerned by that. So we have Brazil, Manitoba, Winnipeg, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Jamaica, Mexico. We have some events there in Mexico that are going to be happening now. Panama, Peru, and lots of states in the U.S., Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Missouri, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, etc. And we have Ecuador and the Cayman Islands. And so while they're still going on in the UTC -4 area, that means they're going to cover this. I know that Earl Cook hasn't come on yet. He's planning to do 15 to 20 minutes. And we've been seeing Arlene Green with her Introduction to Touch for Health class that's going on. And so we're going to have some balancing done in Mexico that we won't be able to see because, if I'm not mistaken, one of the people I talked to in Mexico is going up onto a sacred hill, and we'll be doing the balancing up there. So that's what's going on at that point. So I'm going to set the candle down. And since there isn't live streaming, we're going to be talking a little bit more about Touch for Health. So we were at Touch for Health 3. We talked about the Chinese pulses, about deep over energy. We talked about sound balancing, and also about the fact that certain nutriments can be beneficial for several muscles and several meridians in the same element. We have something in Touch for Health 3 which balances postural deviations. So if you've, for example, twisted your ankle running, or you had a car accident, or you have a repetitive job that means that you have pains and limitations in your movement, there are ways to balance that in Touch for Health. And so we use a structural balancing for that, since it has a structural origin. But that doesn't limit it to structural effects. Of course, that will affect our emotions and our thoughts and our general vital energy, and also the biochemical reactions that are happening in our body. So when we enter by one door into the house, which is our being, we affect all the other rooms of the house. And we do that we can look at those by several different ways in Touch for Health. So the postural deviations, we can feel them ourselves. For instance, we can feel that one shoulder is up higher than the other, or we can feel that we have a twist in our body, or that we have a certain zone of tension that brings one foot forward in front of the other foot. Those are just some examples. So we can feel it ourselves, and because we've noticed it, then we would want to balance it so that we have a better well-being. We can also ask the person who is giving us the balance to observe our static posture and our active posture, and give us also their point of view, their look onto our postural situation. And sometimes that's beneficial because we don't feel everything. Some things are blocked to be a moment, and so we don't feel anymore that blockage. So that's also a possibility, to have the person who is accompanying us look at what's going on and say, well, I can see that the top of the body is slightly bent compared to the bottom of the body, or that there's a twist in the pelvis, or that the head is held up. These are all different things that we can observe. And then so what we're going to do is what we call a reactivity procedure where we're going to identify, okay, well, if there was one muscle that is kind of pulling in energy from all the other synergetic muscles or opposing muscles, which one would it be? And generally that's where we have pain or tension or cramping. So we kind of follow the pain. Like I said before when we were talking, pain is a message that the body gives us to help us. So if we feel tight in the upper trapezius on the left-hand side, we can say, okay, that muscle has probably pulled in a lot of energy from the other muscles in the shoulder and upper back areas and the neck. These are not the only muscles it could pull energy from. And when it did that, it meant that there was a need for extra energy in order to guarantee the posture. And so it was done for a good purpose, but then it kind of got blocked into a postural standard. And we no longer need that because the event that caused it is over with. So this procedure, the reactivity procedure, will loosen up that deviation, that postural deviation, and the postural blockage, if you want to call it like that. And it will return the energy back to the other muscles so that each muscle has enough vital energy to assume its function and to help out when it needs to and to not help out when it doesn't need to. And so this is a procedure that can really make a difference in your physical well-being in your body. Very, very interesting for athletes. Yeah, we can, and people who use their body as their main tool for their professional work environment. For instance, dancers, or it could be masons or carpenters, tile layers, yoga teachers, touch for health instructors, and so touch for health practitioners as well. And so we can do ourselves a lot of good by going through this procedure. We need someone to help us with that procedure, so it's always good to ask a friend if they can come on over and help you out, and then you'll help them out. So, we do exchanges like that all the time. That way we feel better and our friends feel better. So the reactivity procedure, since we need somebody, is not something that I can do in self-balancing here. So to start off this hour, to kick off this hour, I was thinking that we can go and do some full cycle balances. Let's start with the neurovascular points, since I'm sitting down. So for the neurovascular points, we can do self-balancing by holding the neurovascular points for each of the meridians in the order, starting with, of course, central and governing vessel meridians, like we always do, and then looking at what time of day it is. So we're 6 p.m. Let me see what we're doing here. So 18. Yes, we're in the kidney meridian at this point. So we'll be doing the neurovascular balance, starting with the kidney and going around the wheel and ending with kidney. Okay? So let's go ahead and do this. Sometimes we'll be doing the same points over and over again. You'll see there's some points that we go 3 or 4 times to. Sometimes we have multiple points for a meridian, so we'll just take them one after the other. Since neurovascular points have kind of a calming effect, I'm not going to talk too much during this balance. I'm just going to invite you to observe something. Tension spot, a self-talk, an emotion, postural situation, relationship situation, anything that you would like to observe and see what it's like now. Then we'll do the balance and we'll compare to what it's like afterwards. So I'm going to compare to, I guess, my stomach, which is feeling a little bit wheezy like that. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put it on a scale. We're going to do a subjective evaluation, put it on a scale from 0 to 10 points. What's the intensity? Zero, I don't feel anything. 10, it's so present that I only feel that. So whatever you're going to evaluate, put it on a scale from 0 to 10. I would say mine's about a 3.5. Okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and do these points now. We'll be holding each set of points for about 30 seconds. So I forgot that I was going to start with kidney and finish with kidney. So I did the classical order of the neurovascular points. So we're going to finish now and go back to the kidney neurovascular point, which is on the back of the head. So it's right here. We're going to hold that for a minute. Right, so that was our holistic neurovascular balance, self-balance. And now if you go back to that situation or that element that you were observing, for me it was kind of a queasy feeling in the stomach, and you reevaluate it from 0 to 10, where are you at this point with that? Is something different? Has it stayed the same? Is there a different feeling there? Has it improved? Has it gotten more intense? What's up? If it is more intense, then you can hold the ESR, emotional stress release points, afterwards. For me, I was at 3.5, which is not very high, but I do not have a queasy feeling anymore. So that was able to balance that out for me. Those were the neurovascular points of the 14 main muscles that we learn in Touch for Health 1. It's something that we can do every day. It's very calming, brings a lot of serenity and a feeling of being tranquil, calm, grounded, feet on the earth type of feeling. So that's one of the self-balances that we can do. And we learn those points at the first weekend of Touch for Health training. And we can repeat them and use them as often as we want to. There's no counterindications. This is Juno. So I maybe haven't talked about that. With the balancing techniques that we have in Touch for Health, you can not do harm to anyone. At the worst, the body's just going to say, well, it doesn't really interest me. Of course, it's always the attitude with which we offer things to people as well. If we impose them and make them obligatory and we force the person to do it, that can cause some damage because we're not respecting the self-responsibility of the person. But if we offer our points and give the complete liberty to the person that we're accompanying to use them or to not use them, to experiment them, see what they're like, to feel what's different, what's the same, then there is absolutely no danger at all with using these points. So that's something, another basic principle of Touch for Health. We have had some emails come in, so I wanted to read those to you. So I have one from Dalila Oliveira, who was doing the event in Switzerland, in the French-speaking part. She says, I'm going to read it in French and then translate to English. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Un grand merci à tous pour ce moment de partage, d'échange, d'avoir participé avec votre cœur. Je suis sans mots, tellement c'était beau et magnifique de partager avec vous et d'amener cette énergie de joie et d'amour à travers le monde. Voici le lien du site IKC Balancathon. Vous pourrez voir les pays concernés et très prochainement la vidéo. Et je vous fais un petit message dès que la vidéo sera accessible. Gros bisous à tous, Dalila. So she says, hello to everyone. A big thank you for this moment of sharing, of exchanging, and also for having participated with your full heart. I am without words. It was so beautiful and magnificent to share this with you and to bring this energy of joy and love around the planet. You can see the link to the IKC Balancathon website, where you will be able to see all the countries that were involved, and very soon also the video. I will send you a little message once our video is available. And then big kiss and hug to everyone, Dalila. So thank you, Dalila, for that message. We have Sandy Gannon in the UK who said, Robin, I bet you're inundated with messages, but we have to add ours from here. It's a triumph! And many exclamation points. We could all feel it in London. Thank you, Sandy. Big hug and kiss from Sandy as well. Let's see, I have something new coming in. Jer. Here's Jer from Ireland. Thank you, Robin, and your committee for all the incredibly hard work you've put into making this happen. We didn't get to live stream from Ireland, but we did make a video and took lots of pictures. We had a lot of fun and some great balances. It is so wonderful to be part of this wave of energy going around the world right now. Love to you and your team, and all our gratitude for a fantastic job. She's put lots of little hearts from all of us in Ireland, and she's put a clover. Yes, so those are some recent messages that we've received regarding the Balancathon. And I hope that you have been enjoying the Balancathon. If you go on the website, there is the contact information at the end where you can write us an email and tell us what this event meant to you, what you felt during the event, any ideas that came up, how you were able to participate, what you felt, if you felt this wave of heart energy going around the world, or if you didn't, just share with us what's gone on for you during this event, because that's part of the IKC Balancathon. It's the worldwide community getting together, connecting, sharing, and expressing what's happening in us for worldwide peace and well-being, as much for us as for the animals, as for the planet. So we have another half hour together, and then I will be passing on the candle to Alberta, Canada, as well as Costa Rica. So that was our neurovascular. So we've done the meridians, we've done the neurovasculars, and now we can do the neurolymphatic. And this time I'm going to try and remember to start with the kidney, okay? So as in all of the holistic self-balances, we always do central vessel meridian and then governing vessel meridian. And this time I'm going to really try hard. Keep it in your thoughts so that it can get through to me, to start with kidney and go around the wheel and end with kidney, okay? Sound good to you? So this is neurolymphatic. That means vigorous massaging on our torso. Should never hurt. So if some of the points are a little tender, just back off on the pressure that you put on them. Okay? So let's have a go for it. We're only going to do the front points because I can't do a lot of the back points by myself. And I wanted this to be self-balancing. So let me move the table back so you can see my torso. Push the camera down. There we go. That's great. Okay, so let's get started. So for kidney, we need to find our belly button, and we're going to be one thumb width to each side of the belly button and one thumb width up. So that's my belly button, and here's the points that I'm going to massage. Thank you for thinking kidney, because I kept it in my mind this time. So we'll be massaging the top of the pubic bone. We're going to be between second and third ribs, but close to the sternum this time. Not far away like before, but here, real close. We're going to be going down a rib and further, so we'll be massaging at two places between 3 and 4 and 4th and 5th rib. Close to the sternum. We're going to be rubbing between the 5th and 6th ribs on the right-hand side. Before we did it for stomach on the left-hand side, and this time it's for liver, and it's on the right-hand side. So we can go back and forth several times. Okay, and we're going to go back between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th ribs, close to the sternum, this time for the lung meridian, for the serratus anterior. I'm going to stand up. We will be massaging the outside of our thighs from the hip all the way down to the knees. Great. So we'll be doing now stomach. So we'll be going on the left side between the 5th and 6th ribs. And we're going to massage on the left-hand side between the 7th and 8th ribs, just at the front edge, on the inside of the front edge of the rib cage. This is for the spleen, for latissimus dorsi. I'm going to be going between the 2nd and 3rd ribs, close to the sternum once again. We're going to be doing for small intestine, for the quadriceps, the whole bottom of the rib cage, starting in towards the center and massaging along the lower edge. Being careful not to push too much on the floating ribs. Okay, and now for the bladder meridian for Peroneus, we're going to find our belly button again, and we're going to massage all around it at the same time that we massage above our pubic bone. And we come back to kidney, so we find our belly button again, one thumb width out and one thumb width up, and we rub these points again. Great. So that was our holistic neurolymphatic reflex point massage. Great. If something was left over from the first balance that you had observed, and you're still like at anywhere down to a 1, why don't you take a moment now and reconnect with that and see if something is different. Well, if I talk about the queasiness in my stomach, I don't have it anymore. I already had gotten rid of it with the neurovasculars. But what I feel now is like an openness in my chest area, like I can breathe freely again. So that's kind of fun, considering I got a stuffy nose. So we have a message from Rashida. And Rashida had 4 events going in India. And Rashida, I'm going to try and say your last name, Rashida Naraharaseti. And she says, it is lovely to see the beautiful wave of love and care from the Touch for Health family. We had an amazing time with around 100 gathered to celebrate Connecting Hearts. We could not live stream for the event due to power outage every 15 minutes. We will share the pictures and videos. Traveling to Mumbai tonight to teach Touch for Health 1 and 2. Wow, she's got a little bit of travel ahead of us. Warm regards, Rashida. Thank you, Rashida, for sharing that with us. Yes, So internet connections can be good and bad, depends on it. I'm finding that when I'm taking the registered videos off Twitch and downloading them onto my computer and then transferring them onto the YouTube channel, I'm finding that's taking a lot of time. So even though I'm here at home or I have a good internet connection, it's true that probably some of the live streaming has been affected by the bandwidth or by power shortages or technical difficulties. I will be putting those videos on the YouTube channel during the next couple of weeks, because it takes about, for some of them, for the 2-hour events, it almost takes an hour to download them and then transfer them. So those will be coming on slowly onto the YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is IKC Balancathon, IKC space Balancathon. And so you can check that out and then be able to balance yourself. So that is another way, the neurolymphatic points, for a holistic self-balance. Now, we can also do a self-balance with origin and insertion of muscles, but as a self-balance, it's a little difficult because we have a lot of muscles on the back. So that would be not completely accessible for us tonight. So we're not going to do that one, but it is a possibility. If you are working with a partner and you wanted to do that, then you could do the back points for the partner and the partner could do your back points, which is a great way to make the muscles feel whole again and completely operational. I once did a 42 muscle origin insertion balance with a group. I wasn't leading it. I was in the group, so there was another Touch for Health instructor teaching it. And we had a great time, and we felt really good in our bodies afterwards, and that's the goal of it. Our house is our body. So when we feel good in our body, that means that we can put our energy to other things that are more rewarding than feeling bumps and tightness and pain and other things like that. So I wanted to double check again with Touch for Health 3 and see what's up. Yeah, the gates. So the gates is an interesting balance because it's putting several muscles together. Whereas before, when we did the muscle movements, we were working basically on one muscle, which had a link to a meridian, which had a link to an element, and which was either yin or yang. And when we start working with the gates balance, that means that we're putting muscular groups together in a movement, and we are seeing what happens when we make that movement. So the gates has a lot to do with walking. So we have the front gates, which is the anterior gates, which means moving forward. We have the posterior gates, which is moving backwards. We have the lateral gates, which is moving sideways. And we have the contralateral, which is kind of a twist and a lift from the lower body. So there are many ways to test those. What's interesting with this procedure and what is great for self-balancing is you don't necessarily have to be tested in order to use the balancing points. And the balancing points are great for just that, for balance. So if you have someone in your family who's elderly, who has difficulty keeping their equilibrium, or if you're going out on a long walk, or if your child is having their swim test, or a dance recital, or a musical recital, anything where the body is going to be used, it's interesting to massage these points before you do whatever event you need to do. So I wanted to show those. I was once at an international conference in Hungary, organized by Susanna, and at this conference, there was a nurse from Austria, I believe, who works in a memory center. And she said that she systematically massaged these gate points on the feet of all of the people that she balanced. She balanced for different things with different procedures, but at the end of every single balance, she massaged this point. And they statistically had a lower rate of people falling down. And this is important, especially in the elderly population, because we know that when you fall as a senior, you can have problems with bones, with joints and articulations. So this was very interesting to see that she had statistic proof that there were less falls when the people involved had these points massaged for them. And we can massage them ourselves. So in that case, she was working with patients in a memory care center, so remembering the points was not easy for them. So she massaged them. But we can do it for ourselves. And it's a massage that we can do whenever we're sitting down, whenever our hands are free and our feet are free and we're sitting down. So I wanted to look at those points with you now. I'm going to open up the manual to the page 28 where you can see the points, and then we're going to locate them on our body. Oh, my manuals, I always write in my manual, so there's tons of things written all over the place. But at least you can see the picture. Those are the points. So we have, let me move my finger over. So here we have the inner part of the foot. Then we have between the first and second toes, between the second and third toes. We skip between the third and fourth, and we massage between the fourth and fifth toes. And we do this massage on both sides of our body, so on both feet. Some people add a point underneath the foot, which is kidney 1. We're going to do the classic version, if that's okay with you, and then I'll show you where the kidney 1 point is in case you want to add it on. So I'm going to lower my computer so you can see my feet. There we go. And I'm going to take my socks off so that you can see morphologically where we're doing. We're going to do one foot after the other. So the first thing we're going to do is massage in this area on the inside. We're in this area of the foot throughout the massage, okay? So we'll just go ahead and vigorously massage this area ourselves. If some of the points hurt, then you, like the others, you just go lightly, take off a little pressure. No use hurting yourself. Doesn't do any good. It's better to do things lighter and more frequently. So we can massage those like from 15 to 30 seconds. Now we're going to go between the big toe and the second toe. So we go all the way up to where the bones join in the foot and down to the start between the toes. And this is a spot here for me that is a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm going to do circular movement and lighten up a little bit on the pressure I'm doing. Yeah, it doesn't hurt anymore. Okay, so let's move over to between 2 and 3. Same thing from the base of the toes all the way up to where the bones meet. I don't have a particular sensation with this one. Okay, now we're going to skip between 3 and 4 and go directly to between 4 and 5. So from the base of the toes up to where the bones meet. And I don't feel anything particular there either. So now we're going to do the other side of the foot. It's not because on this side I didn't feel anything in certain zones that I'm going to not feel it on this side. This one foot to the other can be completely different. So we're going to start by massaging the inside again. Now I can give you the information about which gates that is. Hold on a second. So on the inside, this is going backwards, posterior gates. It's backing up. Sometimes we need to back up so that we can get a better start. Okay, so now we're going to go between the first and second toes. Juno's here to help me. Like I said, when we start doing moving energy, animals like to come. So this is the one that was sensitive on the right foot for me, but it's not sensitive on the left foot. So from the base of the toes all the way up to where the bones join. And between 2 and 3. Between 2 and 3 is the lateral gates. Yeah, on this side it's a little bit sensitive, the lateral. That's sometimes, when you're got a project, sometimes you need to change your ideas about things and be creative. Take a secondary route. That's what the lateral gates is symbolically kind of about. It's about avoiding obstacles as well. We skip 3 to 4 and we go directly to between 4 and 5. And this is the contralateral gates. It's the twist in the body. And that is not sensitive for me either. Okay, so the right foot was a lot more sensitive than the left foot for me. Okay, so the gate points. And like I said, you can massage those for yourself and for family and friends. And if you do work in a health environment where you take care of people, you can, like the memory center where this person was, or a rehabilitation center, these are points where you can think about, adding them to your professional practice. Please be careful when massaging the skin of seniors, because sometimes the skin can be a little bit thin, kind of parchment. So you might want to put a little massage oil on, or use a little bit of cream, a little bit of lotion, so that it's not as tough on the skin. So those are the gate points in Touch for Health 3. Very, very interesting points. If I listen to what's happening in my feet now, they're all tingly, ready to move, which is great because I'm going to pass on the candle now to the Alberta, Canada group and Costa Rica. So let me see who's up in Alberta, Canada. Hold on a sec, got to get that other list. So we have Greg Webb and Sandra Toms. They're at a World Fair. And we have Alexis Costello, who is in Costa Rica. who has been who is also organizing an event. So, after that, I'm not going to see you for a little bit because we'll be going into Western Canada. We have Sharon Donaldson in the UTC-7 time zone and Tina Baker in San Diego, who are going to be doing local events. They probably won't be live streamed, but there will be local events there. And so I take the candle of Touch for Health and balancing the world and ourselves. And we're going to pass it on to Alberta, Canada, Costa Rica, and Western Canada, as well as the west of the United States, which is that's where I come from. I come from San Francisco. So have fun with the Balancathon, and I'll be checking in once again later on this evening, about 9 p.m. Swiss time. So in about 2 hours. Okay, have fun. Bye.